Access to health care for Black women can be a challenge because of discrimination and other barriers we face. One of the issues Black women face is fibroids. It's a non-cancerous growth in the uterus, and it's estimated that about 25% of us will suffer from that condition. The Black Women's Health Imperative is the first nonprofit created by Black women to help protect and advance the health and wellness of Black women and girls. Joining us now is Wanda Durant. I'm so excited. She is the mother of NBA superstar Kevin Durant. She's also, on her own right, an inspirational speaker, and she's also a fibroid survivor as well. Ms. Durant, welcome to BNC Live. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now, briefly walk us through your fibroid journey. When did you start to experience symptoms, and when were you actually diagnosed?
Well, I had been experiencing symptoms of fibroids for many years, and I was never um, alerted to the possibility of having fibroids. I also suffer with Graves' disease, and so some of the symptoms are similar, but never diagnosed with fibroids until about a year and a half ago. And then I was a little perturbed by the notion that no one ever mentioned it, and as you stated, is something that Black women face probably like 10 times more than other races. And so I was really disturbed, and that's why I decided to partner with Black Women's Health Imperative, because they're bringing awareness to something that really is devastating to our community. And so that's why I'm here today, just to kind of discuss the importance of awareness and the advocacy that's needed for such a condition as this.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, do you feel that health professionals fail to take our health seriously?
And in my case, I really felt that way. And I was really emotional about that when I really realized that it was something that was not considered. And I think they do sometimes just kind of pass us by. I've heard many tales over the years with other different illnesses, how Black women are treated when it comes to health care. And there's a disparity between other races in healthcare. And so I think it's really important that we all rally together to bring awareness to the issues that we face as Black women.
Absolutely. Well, Ms. Durant, since being diagnosed, can you just talk about the care and the treatment you're currently receiving?
Well, currently I am in menopause, and so that is a deterrent for fibroids, because fibroids is kind of fed by estrogen and progesterone. Because I'm in menopause, those hormones are reduced, and so my symptoms are abated because of that. But prior to that, I had hard cycles, um, a lot of pain, hair loss. Um, Iron deficiencies, all these things that I experienced. But now, currently, I'm not experiencing them because my body has somewhat reversed it because of menopause.
Well, speaking of menopause, do you notice that some of your symptoms have been increased because of the fibroids, even though you are in menopause?
Well, no, actually, because I'm in menopause, it causes them to shrink. And of course, in menopause, we kind of lose the process of having a cycle. But they're still there. At this time, we're just watching them. My doctor's watching them closely to ensure that they continue to shrink. And if there's any other underlying problems because of them, that we will address it at that time. But right now, I'm just in the monitoring stages because of menopause.
Got it. So menopause saved you. Um,
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
so fibroids are also a major reason that some women decide to have a hysterectomy. You decided not to do that. What advice do you have for other women who are considering that option or may not want to go with that option?
Well, what I think is really important is that because it's an individual decision, but I think when we're more informed of the possibilities, that's when we can make the best decision for us. I elected because medically, I don't need to have any surgical procedures at this time because, as I stated, they're shrinking. But I think it's something that each individual person needs to get a first and second opinion to see what's best for them, to also consider their psychological impacts of what surgery means to them in their female area. And so I think it's necessary that we have a full gamut of the information so that we can make informed decisions of what we want to do. I think that's the best approach. And with the Black Women's Health Imperative, they have a lot of the information that's needed for individuals to consider what the possibilities are.
Got
But
it.
I think that awareness is key. We need to bring the issues that Black women face to the forefront of medical research, and that's why the advocacy from the imperative is so necessary for the improvement of our overall health.
Yeah, you and Black Women's Health Imperative, what would you like to see happen when it comes to healthcare for Black women?
We would like for the awareness to be there. That some of the things that we face as Black women, that it is on the forefront of the knowledge in the medical field, so that we are well informed of our options and not feel like that we are on the back burner always when it comes to our medical health. Because sometimes there are differences, and we need to be made aware of them and why the differences are, and what we can do about them. And I think the advocacy is necessary for all of us in the medical field to know that these things are important to us as Black women, and that we need to be aware of what's going on with our bodies and to be a part of the intentional research.
Now, Ms. Durant, you have two children, and I told you this earlier that you're kind of considered, or your website, it's listed as Mama Durant, and you are kind
Yes,
of like a mama to, especially the women that you help. Your first calling was
yes,
being a mom. Your second calling is helping others. Can you just tell us how
yes.
your foundation, Hope, Dream, Believe, and Achieve, is not only inspiring mothers, but it's also improving, the lives of their children as well?
Because one of the things I tell young mothers, and mothers, period, is that in order for you to really help your children and be impactful in their lives, is that we as mothers have to be whole. And I didn't know that while I was raising my children. And when my children grew up and to become the men that I had reared them to be, I was left alone, not really knowing what my path in life was. And so one of the things that I do is to encourage women to also focus on themselves while being a mother and being engaged. And that because you're whole, you can present a wholeness to your child. And that's one of the messages that I like to direct to mothers. Because we sometimes lose ourselves totally. I didn't know what my favorite color was until I was well in my 40s. But I knew all of those things about my sons. And so I encourage them to know who they are in the process of becoming, in the process of motherhood, so when they grow up, you'll be confronted with yourself and you'll enjoy yourself even more instead of taking so much time like I did after my sons are 32 and 30. No, I'm sorry, 33 and 35 now. And it took me quite a number of years after they moved out of the house for me to know who I was. But if women take the time to do that as they're rearing their children, when they move out the house, then they can go into the fullness of who they are. And so that's one of the things that I try to encourage women to do.
Yeah. During your son Kevin Durant's MVP award speech, the world got a chance to actually hear about the struggles you all went through in the earlier years. And there wasn't a dry eye
Yes.
in the room. I mean, I was on the other side of the screen and I was also crying. And we also heard about the sacrifices, and he recognized you for that. And he actually crowned you the real MVP, to which you received a standing
Yes.
ovation. Now that you are on the other
Yes.
side, as a whole woman, as you said, what do you want people to take away from your story?
That to never quit, no matter what the situations are, no matter what you're going through as a family, never give up on your family. God will always help you find a way to continue to go. And I know sometimes it's really hard. We face a lot of valleys in our lives, but you just cannot quit because you never know what the possibilities are for your life. And I'm living my fullness now. I never thought that I would be doing the things that I'm doing today. I never thought that I would be as whole and as complete as I am today because I didn't quit. I'm able to realize those things in my life.
Wanda, what made you keep going though? Because when it's dark, it's dark. So what kept you going?
Because you have what kept me going was because I knew that there was a light, and I knew that I had two other people that depended upon me, and I could not quit for them because if I quit, then who was going to be there for them? It wasn't my mother's or my family's responsibility to take care of my children. I had to do that, and so I decided. that I had to keep going. I had to keep going. God helped me. My mom helped me. My extended family helped me at times when I was a proud woman, and I wanted. I came from a female dominant family, and so I was very proud as a Black woman, and I wanted to show myself approved before the women in my family, and so I continued on, and I wanted them to know that I could do it on my own. I was grateful for what God had done, and I wanted to prove to Him that I had accepted the responsibility of motherhood wholeheartedly. And no matter what we faced, I was going to not quit on my children or myself.
Mm, powerful testimony. I know you got to go. I just want to ask you one question now. Your son, Kevin
Yes.
Durant, is now in his 14th season. He's one of the most accomplished players
Yes.
of all time. There's no doubt that next week he'll be named as one of NBA's top 75 players ever. Miss Wanda, have you allowed yourself to just soak in the fact that your little boy, the boy that you raised, who is now a grown man, who overcame so much in his childhood, is who he's become? Do you allow yourself to just go there and soak in that moment, or do you have to pinch yourself every now and then?
Sometimes, when you grow up, when you have a child and he grows up to be this famous, storied person, at the end of the day, that's still Kevin. That's little Kevin to me. But sometimes I just take a look. I was in New York and I was looking up and I saw his picture in the middle of Times Square. And I'm like, wow, this is my son and the things that he has accomplished in his life. And I was telling one of my travel companions that my son had started this journey at age 7, 8 years old. And he worked this hard and he continues to work hard. And that's why he's so accomplished. But yeah, I'm like, wow, that's my baby up there. Yeah. So sometimes I just have to pinch myself.
Yeah. Miss Durant, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for
Thank
all
you.
that you do, and we look forward to welcoming you back.
Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy your day
You as
and
well.
God bless.
You as well.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.